Welcome back. I left you on a little bit of a cliffhanger on that last video, and I said in this video I would tell you why I would never, ever, ever invest in a stock like Mullen. Okay, and the reason for that is because of the toxic financing and the toxic dilution that they do. Okay. And I'm also going to show you um, uh, how to avoid companies like that. A really quick, easy way to see if maybe this is a high risk company that you may want to invest in, or it's just a total shit company you should never touch. In the case of Mullen and CEI and what's another one? Tops, I think, is another one. So, first of all, what is dilution? So, um, in the real world, don't even think of stocks for a second. What is dilution? So, if you have let's say you have a gallon of vodka, right? Um, and then you took a gallon of water and you watered it down. What would happen to that vodka? All right, if you owned one shot of that vodka, what would happen to that if you took a shot? Well, it would be half as potent. Half of it would be water, right? You're not really getting that full vodka that you paid for. So, in a nutshell, this is dilution. Stocks work in the same way. Okay. Uh, another another way I like to look at it is think of it like a pie of pizza, right? So you have one full pie of pizza. That's it. That's all you get is one full pie of pizza. Now, if you want to, let's say you wanted to sell that pizza, right? You wanted to sell some. Um, uh, let's say that pizza, that one pie pizza, was cut kind of weird. It was cut into 10 slices, just to make this kind of easy. And you owned one slice of that pizza, right? So out of those 10 slices, you own one. Okay. And Joe Schmo owns the entire company or the entire pizza pie, let's say. And then you own one slice of that pizza. Um, Joe Schmo says, you know what, I want to sell some of this pizza. So I'm going to cut this pizza into 20 slices instead of 10. Okay. So Joe Schmo cuts each, 20 slices instead of 10. If you still have that same pizza, it's still the same amount of pizza. But what happens to your one slice of pizza? It's now half as big. So you have 50%. You still have one slice of pizza. You still have one share, but but it's half as big. That's dilution. And think of it in terms of stocks now, and that's exactly what companies like Mullen are doing. And I'll explain how they get away with this. It should be illegal, but it's not. It really should. It's not illegal because they tell you exactly what they're going to do. So if you go back and look at their financials and you go back and look at their history, you'll see that they've just been doing this over and over and over. And what they do is they pull in new investors, undereducated or uneducated investors, and they basically have new money come in every time. And then I'll show you what happens here. So this is a really easy way to see if a company is toxically financed. Okay, so now you can do this in a legitimate way, and I'll show you what I mean. So let's look at Mara, right? So Mara's been on a rip. It's up 20 cent year to date. It's up 300% in the past year. Now, Mara recently started its Bitcoin operations back in, I think, 2018. I've been in the beginning, since about the beginning. But there is a way to do an offering and sell shares if you are using the money for, for the right purposes, and you don't do it constantly. Okay. So if you look at Mara and you look at their all time, okay, you'll see here now. Mara used to be, before they started their Bitcoin mining operations. They're now under new ownership and everything, but they used to be a toxically financed company. So they used to do this dilution scam. Um, uh, Kind of. That's how they were staying afloat until somebody came in and said, "Hey, I need this. Basically your company, your public company, to run this Bitcoin mining operation. I want to be the lead Bitcoin mining operator in the world." And they are. They did that, and you can see the crazy gains that they've had since they started doing that. Right. You can also see that they're only down 74%. I say only. They're only down 74% all time. Okay, so that's a lot. This is a high risk company, but it's not a toxically financed company. And the the biggest giveaway is they changed their operations here. You could see what happened. You could see the trajectory they were on until they actually got into a good business and a profitable business, Bitcoin mining, as it was just getting started. And as you can see from there, the company started to do a whole lot better. Now, let's look at, you can see here, so we're down 74% all time, okay? That is a lot, all right? But again, it's all relative, so they've kind of turned the ship around. Now, let's look at MULN. So here's a company like MULN, all right? Stock price is at $7. And if you go back and watch my market cap video, you'll see that this really isn't really $7. Their market cap is only at $446 million, whereas Mara's is at like $7 billion or something, $6 billion, whatever it's at right now. Now, and this is how if you ever want to see if a company does toxic financing and dilution scam, pretty much what it is, look at their all time. Go to Max, okay? They're down $19 million all time, okay? This stock was never at $19 million. What they do is every time this stock gets under, and this is all part of the game, but every time this stock gets under $1, they do a reverse split and they pump the stock price back up. Okay, the market cap doesn't change, the stock price changes. If you don't understand what I'm talking about, go back and watch my previous video on market cap. So MULN, let's say they were at 10 cents a share, okay? And what people do is they'll come in and they'll say, I have to find my calculator. They'll come in and they'll say, "Oh, I see this stock, MULN. They're doing this great thing, not calculator. They're doing this great, EV stuff, and oh, look at this vehicle. This stuff looks great. This looks like a great opportunity." Okay. The stock is only 10 cents a share. Okay. I'm going to buy 100,000 shares. Okay. So they buy 100,000 shares at 10 cents a share. Okay. And that gives them 10,000 shares of MULN. Okay, so they have 10,000 shares. They're feeling great. Oh, this stock used to be at $19 million. I only needed to go up, even a fraction of that, and I'm going to be rich. Okay, and this is where the disconnect is, right? And this is why doing this video because I really want you guys to understand how this works. Okay, so they have their 10,000 shares and at 10 cents a share. Okay, or I'm sorry, they have their 100,000 shares at 10 cents a share for a total of $10,000 that they spend. Okay, so Mullen did a 500 to 1 reverse split. Okay, so what that means is that for every 500 shares that Joe Schmo, let's call him, or Joe Blow, has, you divide it by 500. Okay, it's 500 to 1. So Joe Blow now has 200 shares of Mullen, except it's not worth 10 cents a share anymore. It's worth again, we have to multiply the share price by 500 too. So you divide and you get $50 a share. Okay, so Joe Schmo now has 200 shares of Mullen times $50 a share. 200 shares times 50. And he still has his $10,000 investment, right? So now what Mullen does is they say, oh, we're going to do another share offering. And we're going to dilute the float. I swear to God they did this. 3 times the float, okay? So instead of, if you go back to my market cap video, you'll understand this. So instead of, let's say, and this is just numbers, I'm just throwing this out. So let's say Mullen has a $100 million market cap, okay? And this is touching on my last video. So, let's say they had 50,000 shares outstanding, okay? So that would be 100,000 divided by 50,000, okay? So stock price is at $2 a share in that instance. Well, they said, we're going to sell 150,000 shares, okay? So now you're going to add another 150,000 to the 50,000. So now you have that same $100,000 market cap, except you're not dividing it by 50,000 anymore. You're dividing it by $200,000. Swear to God they did this. And this was in one shot. Don't get me wrong, they've constantly done this for years, but this is just one offering that they did this. Now, those shares that you have are worth 50 cents, okay? So they're no longer, they're worth, a quarter of what they were worth. And Mullen has that money now, and what do? They pay their salaries, they pay, they fund their operations, and the song and dance, the circus continues, you know what I mean? Until the share price is diluted all the way back down, well, it's under $1 now. So they say, oh, well, now we need to do a reverse split. So remember how Joe Blow had 200 shares? Well, now they're going to do a 10 to 1 reverse split. Okay, so the 10 to 1 is going to push the stock price back up to $5 a share. Okay, right? Times 10, $5 a share, and then you also have to divide Joe Blow's 200 shares that he has divided by, what did I say, 5? No, 10. Divided by 10, that's 20. Okay, so now Joe Blow has 20 shares, but but they're only worth $5. Okay, so his original investment is fucked. Is what I'm getting at. And this continues on and on and on and on. And this is why the stock price is down in an insane amount, because they just keep doing this. After this gets down to under $1, they are going to do what I just said they're going to do. They're going to do another reverse split, and then they're going to sell more shares. And the CEO's getting paid, the board's getting paid, the people who work at the company are getting paid, and they keep kicking the can down the road for as long as they can, and this is why you never invest. You might as well just flush your money down the toilet, to be honest with you, because that would be more effective than investing in a company like MULN or a company like CEI. Okay, MULN's down what, 19 million? Let's look at CEI. CEI is another one. Oh, CEI, I heard this in social media. They're down 8 million. Or wait, Jesus Christ. They're down 8 billion. They're even worse than MULN. Guys, just stay away, all right? If you hear about some great penny stock and you click on their all-time and it's anything over 90%, don't fucking touch it, all right? Do yourself a favor. Listen to what I'm telling you. I'm speaking from experience. I know what the fuck I'm talking about. So save yourself the trouble. And that's dilution and toxic financing in a nutshell. Thanks for watching, guys. If you like it, like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out. Appreciate you watching.